Alright guys, how's it going? I'm going to give it a couple minutes for people to come in if anybody is planning on coming into the live chat. Usually I get like 4 or 5 people, but hope everybody's having a good week this week. As most of you know, I started doing Shipt also instead of Uber and Lyft. I still do Uber and Lyft on the weekends, usually down in Philly. However, in my area, I've been actually making some decent money with Shipt, so I'm continuing to do that right now. So this video is labeled the number one thing you should do all year round to help track your expenses or something along those lines. I started doing it when I did Uber and Lyft, and the very first year when I did my taxis, Uber and Lyft actually tracked my miles pretty good. So I didn't do it for Uber and Lyft the following year just because they actually tracked it pretty well. But I would recommend anybody starting out to track your miles. Uber and Lyft uses your GPS. Everybody knows this. So they track your miles at the end of the year when you get your thing from Uber and Lyft, the printout. It actually has the miles that you drove. And then when you go to your tax person or when you do it yourself, you can claim those miles as a tax deduction. However, when you do Instacart, Grubhub, I'm not sure about Grubhub, but Grubhub, DoorDash, Instacart, Shipt, which is what I do, and any of those other side gig hustle apps, doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you even use your car for a delivery service like Pizza Hut, Domino's, whatever it is. I use an app on Google Play. I'm not sure if it's not on the Apple Store or not. It's called Stride. That basically, I've found it's free, 100% free. You literally go in there, you click it. It says start my ride, and then when you're done at the end of the day, you stop it, and it literally tracks where you were the entire time. You can actually see it on a little map, like literally shows your entire trip, where you went, gives you your time, gives you your mileage, and gives you everything. At the end of the year, because I did use this app 2 years ago for like a month and a half till I realized I didn't need to use it for Uber and Lyft. It will give you a printout at the end of the year. You can actually go in and it prints out like a PDF or sends a PDF to your email. So what I'm doing is for Uber and Lyft, I'm not using this app. I'm using this to track my shipped orders. This app basically will track everything that I do, driving from wherever I'm at to my first order, the entire time that I'm doing it, and then home. So that way, all that mileage I'm putting on my car, since Shipt doesn't record that, I am recording that, so I can use that as a tax deduction. The biggest thing that you can do to get yourself the most money back at the end of the year is track your miles. Whether you want to do it, I would recommend if you're first starting out doing Uber, Lyft, or any side gig, get an app like Stride. It doesn't have to be Stride, but get an app that tracks your miles, or track your miles yourself. Because at the end of the day, that is the single biggest, what's up, Rideshare Trickster? That is the single biggest expense at the end of the year. If you only go by miles, if you only, at the end of the year when you do your tax deduction, and you do the 58 or 54, or whatever it is, cents per mile that they give you for all of your expenses, that is the single biggest deduction that you're going to get. I found out I don't track my gas because I don't itemize everything. I literally only do the 58 cents per mile because the lady that does my taxes, we figured it out when I did my first 2 months and I did my taxes that year. The average I would spend over the course of everything, the 58 cents per mile actually paid more than what my expenses are. Now I also have a hybrid car, so I get 40 miles to the gallon. Exactly, Trickster. It's a huge write-off, which is why I'm telling people, track your expenses. Okay, 100% track your expenses. If you want to try to itemize your expenses, you won't get the 54 cents or 58 cents per mile. You will get only what you pay for. You will oil changes, lube jobs, tire changes, inspection, all of that stuff goes towards that 58 cents per mile. But like I said, guys, me personally, last year when I did my taxes, I had almost 10,000 miles, or if not 15,000 miles, I think. All I know is at the end of the year, it came to, I think, 9,800 in tax deductions. Sorry about that, guys. Got interrupted. So what I was saying was, last year when I did my taxes, I had somewhere between almost $95,000 and almost $10,000 in tax deductions because I did 58 cents per mile. So yeah, I think it was almost like 16,000 or 17,000 miles that I drove last year just doing Uber and Lyft, which is why I would highly recommend recording your miles. 100% record your miles. It's the single biggest expense that you're ever going to have doing any side gig. But at least Uber and Lyft track your miles when you're driving to and from the pickup destination. While as long as you're on, they track your miles. Any other side gig, as far as I know, Shipt, which is what I do, like I said before, Shipt does not track your miles. Exactly. So Rideshare Trickster says, get a Ziploc bag and save all of your receipts. Oil, cleaners, car washes, tires, mileage, it all counts. I wrote off $18,000, no joke. Exactly. I wrote off almost $10,000. I also get my car washed. I belong to a monthly car wash. I pay $20 a month, and I can get my car washed every single day. Now, that goes on my credit card, so I just print out my credit receipt of where that went on there, and that is my receipt, because the car wash actually doesn't print the receipts. It's from somewhere else. But what you need to do, like Rideshare Trickster just said, is every single thing that you use as an expense, you need to write off. So do yourself a favor and save all that. I know it might be time consuming and it might be a pain in the ass, but if you get a system down, something that you keep in your car, and you just put your receipts in there, and then once a week you take it out and you put it somewhere else in a filing cabinet in your house or wherever, but you need to have that on hand just in case you get audited. I'm not sure about clothes or shoes. I don't ever count any of that stuff. You also need to be careful, though, because if you take too much off, your business is not going to be profitable. You need to think of Uber, Lyft, side gigs, any of that stuff as your company and your business. If your business for the year earned, let's just say $30,000, but you have tax write-offs of $35,000, well, then your business is negative. And after a couple years of doing that, they're not going to count. As far as I know, this is what I heard from somebody. I'm not sure if it's true or not, so don't take my word for it. But from what I understand is after 3 to 4 years of you doing that, being in the negative, you're not going to count as a actual business, because you're technically going bankrupt, because you have a positive. Say you do 30 grand 4 years in a row, that equals 120,000, but every 4 years you're spending 30 to 40,000 to run the business. Well, then you're in a negative. So it is what it is. Now, if you have a full-time job, now here's the good kicker, guys. Say you have a full-time 40-hour-a-week job, okay? You make $50,000 a year. And out of that $50,000, in Pennsylvania, it's roughly between 25 and 25-ish%, okay? So you make 50 grand. Actually, let's just make it 40 grand for easy math. You make 40 grand a year. Out of that 40 grand, 25 of it straight off, or 10,000 straight off the top is your taxes. So you're making 30,000, okay? If you have a side gig and you do go to the negative and you have more deductions than you have profit, those deductions will go towards your full-time job. Say you owe, like, say you were short and you owed like $3,000 on your taxes for your full-time job. Those deductions then would go towards your full-time job, dropping that lower. Instead of you owing like $3,000, maybe you were $1,500 over on your side gigs. So that $1,500 would come off of your full-time. So you would only owe $1,500 instead of $3,000. Okay? That is why I always say, and Dustin always says this too, have a full-time job. Don't make side hustles. Don't make gig jobs your full-time job. If you do, make sure that you have more than one. Okay? Uber will deactivate you for no reason. If they get a reason from somebody or more than one, they will deactivate you quick. Lyft, we already know Dustin got deactivated for a shitty excuse. Geo got deactivated last year from Uber for a shitty excuse from somebody being stupid, okay? Make sure that you have more jobs or more accessibility in the pipeline to be able to do these things. Right now, I wish I could do Amazon Flex. In my area, Amazon Flex is crazy because Amazon bought Whole Foods. I, however, did not sign up at the beginning, and then when COVID hit, everybody signed up. My area got oversaturated with drivers or delivery people for Amazon Flex, and now I cannot do it. I wish I could at the time. But get yourself 3 or 4 or 5, however many side hustles you think you can do, or stuff that you would like to do, and don't do them all the time. Like I said, I did Uber and Lyft all last year, all the time, and I got sick of it after a while and I stopped doing it. Now I do Shipt. So now, usually what I'll do in my area when I have time is I'll do Shipt here, and then once or twice a month, I'll go out and I'll hit Philly hard doing Uber, or I'll do Uber here. Today I actually did Uber for probably about an hour because Shipt was slow and there wasn't any orders, so I drove a couple people around until orders came up. But what I did is, say, just for an example, today it is 7 o'clock here. I got off work at 3 o'clock, so 4 hours from 3 o'clock to about 4:30, there was nothing on Shipt. So I just drove around. I got on Uber, picked up, I think, 2 or 3 people and drove them around. As soon as I had an order on Shipt come up, I accepted it, went to where I had to go, did what I needed to do, and I got on there, and there's probably about another 20 minutes where there was no orders. So I got on Uber. I actually drove somebody somewhere else, dropped her off, got back on Shipt. There was another order. Okay? This is maximizing your potential and maximizing your chances at making as much money as possible, which is also why we all say, if you drive Uber, drive Lyft. If you can, and if you like both of them, do it. Because when you're not maximizing your potential, see you later, Rideshare Trickster, you're losing the chance to make money, okay? If nobody's sitting in your backseat, if you're not shopping for an order, if you don't have groceries in your car, you are losing money. There's no point in sitting in your car, driving around, wasting your time and your gas and your money. So with that being said, guys, if anybody has any questions about any of this stuff, please feel free to email me. If you have any questions about Shipt, again, please feel free to contact me, comment, or email. I will gladly respond to any comments that anybody leaves on any of my videos as long as they are tasteful. So I hope everybody has a good weekend. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.